So, continuing with 8.1 today. Absolutely not. You must decipher what I'm writing behind this. Thank you for letting me know I left it on there. I do that occasionally. So we're still multiplying and dividing rational expressions, except, have we divided yet? The answer is no, we haven't. We should do that. Okay, start with some elementary school rationals, aka fractions. I know, it's fantastic. 5/7 divided by 25/49. Now, it does not apply here, but I do want to talk about this before we get there. Can you close the laptop for now, please? Thank you. When you are dividing, cross-simplifying is not a thing. Cross-simplifying is only a thing in multiplication. Not to say that something divides out of 5, 7, and 49, or 25, 7, and 49. Don't try cross-simplifying when it's dividing. It's a key mistake that people make when they do cross-simplify. That being said, we're dividing. Do you remember how to divide fractions? Keep, change, flip. Multiply by the reciprocal. Flip the second guy and multiply. All different ways to say it. Multiplying by the reciprocal is the technical terminology. Keep, change, flip is the most common I hear. Keep, change, flip means keep the same fraction. Change the divide to a multiply times, and then flip the second fraction. Get its reciprocal instead. Now it's multiply. Can I cross simplify now? Yes. As soon as it turns to multiply, you can cross simplify, but do not do it before then. Is there something I can divide out of top and bottom? 5. Leave a 1, leave a 5. Anything else? 7. Leave a 1, leave a 7. To multiply fractions, how do we do it again? Straight across the top, straight across the bottom. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 5 is 5. 7/5. Do you have to cross simplify? No, you can just straight up multiply across. Had you done that, you would have gotten 245 over 175. The problem is that you then have to simplify that. And that's where cross simplification helps us. Because while I have zeroed down in my mind, when you look at 245 and 175, you could probably figure out that divides by 5. But how many of you realize that divides by 35? Anyone? The only reason I know it divides by 35 is because I know this divided by 5 and 7. And 5 times 7 is 35. So, you don't have to cross simplify, but it makes the simplifying easier. Okay. Out of elementary school back to high school. Now 9xy over 12y squared is getting divided by 15x squared y cubed, getting divided by 8xy to the 8th. The first thing I want you to get in the habit of looking at when you're dealing with rational expressions is pay attention to what is in between the fractions. Because as we get further in the chapter, sometimes it's going to be times, sometimes it's going to be divide, sometimes it's going to be add, sometimes it's going to be subtract, sometimes it's going to be equal. The most common mistakes that I see in chapter 8 is people just not paying close enough attention to what it tells me to do to the problems. This case, it is divide. To divide fractions, keep, change, flip. The moment I see it's divide, that will be the first thing I do every single time. Be careful with your keep, change, flip. It is not uncommon. People accidentally forget to flip it, even though that's what they're trying to do. It's not uncommon. People lose things as they flip it. What can I do on this problem now that it looks like this? Multiplication, I can cross simplify, provided one thing is true about my fractions. Remember, when you are simplifying, you are dividing the greatest common factor out of the top and the bottom. The only way to divide out the greatest common factor is if you know the factors. When there's pluses and minuses, are the factors obvious? When there's pluses and minuses, no. Are there pluses and minuses? No. When there's not pluses and minuses, the factors are easier to see. When there's not pluses and minuses, I can go directly to that cross simplify. What divides out of top and bottom? What do you see? That was a lot of things put together, but you're not wrong. 3xy, let's deal with it in pieces. The 3 can come off of the 9. Does it come off the 12, the 15, or both on the bottom? It can come off the 15, it can come off the 12, just don't take it off of both. It really doesn't matter which one you take it off of. I'm going to take it off the 12 because I can. I heard x. There's an x on top. X on bottom is over here, leaving me with x to what power? First. Okay, I was told y. Y can come off the top. There's y's in both of these. Does it matter which one I take it off of? No, just make a choice. I'll take it off that one. Are there other things? Four. Take a 4 off of both of these. That now becomes a 1. This now becomes a 2. Is there more? 3 and 15. Is there more? There's y's on top and bottom still. How many y's can I take off the top and bottom? Okay, 3, I see this here. Oops, I didn't mean to cross off the y part. That goes away completely. I've got a y to the 5th. Is there more? Yeah. Can the x's now cancel? How many of you at this point are like, there's way too much going on? It happens sometimes. Here's the thing, when you are cross-simplifying, if you don't simplify it completely, put the laptop away. If you don't simplify it completely, that's okay. You have another chance later. If you're at the point where I can't see anymore, I just can't. Yes, there's more that simplifies. But if you get to the point where you're all of a sudden like lost on what you're doing, start doing your multiplying across. I was left with a 1 getting multiplied by a 2x y to the 5th over 1y getting multiplied by 5xy. Well, the 1 times 5 is 5. There's an x, and the y time, oh wait, the y's are gone there. You don't have to fully cross-simplify before you're done. You have to fully simplify eventually, but you could simplify now. Is it easier to kind of see what simplifies now? Yeah, I'll be honest. When I'm cross-simplifying, the main thing I am cross-simplifying is numbers. Half the time, I don't even cross-simplify the variables at all when there's no pluses or minuses. On this problem, I personally would have just said, okay. Just gonna rewrite the original first. Or the multiplied version, I should say. Personally, on this one, I would have recognized I could pull the 3. I could pull the 4. I could pull a 3 again. And then I would have just multiplied straight across because there's so many variables and it's easier to not have to cross them off multiple times. I would have gotten 2. X times x is x squared. Y times y to the 8th is y to the 9th. Remember, when multiplying, you add the exponents. On the bottom, I would have had the 5. I would have had an x squared, and I would have had y to the 5th. Now, is that the final answer? No. Is this the final answer? No. We got to simplify them. On this top one, I could cross off the x's and 1 of the y's. On this one, I could cross off the x's and 5 of the y's. In the end, I get 2y to the 4th over 5 in both cases. Do whichever way is easier for you. If you want to fully cross-simplify, great. If you want to only partially cross-simplify, great. As long as you simplify at the end, you're golden. What operation is it? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. Those are operations. Divide. To divide fractions. We do what?
Keep change flip.
Keep change flip. How the heck do I flip 2x plus 2? Remember, it's getting divided by 1. If it's not a fraction, it's technically a fraction divided by 1. And yes, the 1 ends up on top, and the 2x plus 2 then ends up on bottom. Now that it's multiplied, can I cross simplify? At this very moment, that is. In general, once it's multiplied, you could cross simplify. But can I cross simplify right this second? No. What's wrong? It's gotta be factored. Can I factor 4x squared plus 7x plus 3? Maybe, but I can't do the shortcut, can I? Since I'm doing a longer form of factoring, I'm pulling it off to the side. How do we full AC method again? Where do I start? 4 times 3. Do I do that in the problem? No, I do it off to the side. 4 times 3 is 12. And I look for two things that multiply to 12, but when I add them, I get 7. 4 and 3. Be careful with your next step. I saw 2 mistakes come up on the quiz on the AC method factoring. One thing, people jump directly to x plus 4, x plus 3. Can you do that with the full AC? No. The other thing I saw was people get rid of this 4 in front of the x squared and just write x squared. And then they wrote plus 4x plus 3, and they changed that to the 12. There's a reason I say multiply off to the side. Because this stays, and this stays. The only things that change is this into those, with x on them. I have to factor by grouping. I break into the 2 halves. The first half I can factor out. 4x, leaving me with x plus 1. The second half I factor out a 3. How do I know if it's positive or negative? The parentheses gotta match. If I divide by 3, I'll get positives and it will match. So it's positive 3. Final factored form, 4x plus 3, x plus 1. Do not forget, if you did a GCF, to put it back on it. We didn't. Monomials will not factor. The 3 won't factor, the 1 won't factor. I am writing off screen. My bad. Can I factor 2x plus 2? GCF, and that's going to be the only thing that happens because there's no exponents. These move with x plus 1. You could choose to multiply it straight across at this point, or you can choose to cross simplify. Either way, if I choose to multiply straight across, technically, this denominator would have to have some distribution going on with it. But would I actually do the distribution? No, you would be undoing all your work if you do that. Thank you. Does something simplify? X plus 1, anything else? No. I multiply straight across. Top is 4x plus 3. That's really the only thing up there. The bottom, 6. Do multiply the monomials, the plain numbers, the plain x's, the plain y's that don't have the pluses or minuses. Those do actually multiply. You just don't want to distribute into parentheses at all. Over 6. How you feeling about divide? Sweet. Not so sweet. We'll talk if need be. Welcome to textbook problems. Wow. I haven't even broken the worst news to you yet. There is no e-textbook.